Paul Ryan had a black girlfriend. Does it matter?
A lot of the reaction, which seems to be driven, for some reason, it seems to be from a lot of conservatives, is why did you write this? Why are you playing the race card? Why did you bring this up?
Welcome to NewsBeast. Conventions are brewing along with a hurricane, and we've got an all-star political cast, Keli Goff from the Root. Hello.
Hello.
And Andrew Romano, our man about the Obama campaign.
Hi.
Keli, you had a piece this week that went boom.
I have no idea what you're talking about.
Yes, I don't. Paul Ryan had a black girlfriend. Does it matter? This apparently lots of people think it does.
Apparently so, which I'm a little bit, actually, I have to say, perplexed by the huge hoopla and somewhat of a backlash the piece seems to have generated. But yes, I thought this was a very interesting revelation. As far as I know, this would be the first candidate on a major party ticket who has made such a revelation about having, you know, a relationship with someone of a different race. So I thought it was...
Other than Barack Obama.
Yeah, Obama had a white girl.
Oh, there you go. That's correct.
It wasn't his revelation.
Well,
it came out a lot later.
and also can I challenge you know what I'm about to say next?
Strom Thurmond, 1948, but that doesn't count.
But also, right, which I mentioned in my piece, as you know.
Thomas Jefferson,
which you know.
too,
Yeah.
But what I was going to say, although, you know, the challenge, the pushback on the Obama reference is he is half white.
Ah.
So, you know.
Interesting.
So which a lot of people seem to forget whenever we start talking about race, but that's a whole separate conversation.
Fill it in, the context of
right,
Paul
so
Ryan's.
I just read a piece about whether or not, you know, such revelations of personal details about personal relationships tell us anything about a candidate's policies. And some of the examples I gave were people like Strom Thurmond, who actually was very actively involved in some ways in helping to raise the half African-American daughter that he fathered with an underage slave, at the exact same time that he was promoting segregationist policies.
Right.
So the argument I was simply making is that these revelations actually don't tend to tell us a whole lot about someone's actual politics or policies. You have to actually look at the policies to know where someone's heart stands on certain issues.
But I mean, you know, one of the sort of reflexive attacks on Republicans that I get incredibly tired of is immediately, you know, Republicans are racist, right? Which is A, historically ignorant, but B, is just an absurd broad brush. I mean, and you see people throwing that at Ryan all the time, and you know, look, you know, the fact that he's open about his black girlfriend and just never, you know, just not a big deal.
Right.
Speaks to also the fact he's the first Gen X guy
absolutely.
on the ticket, right? It's not that big a deal. It's America.
Well, the subtext there, right, is that it's somehow hypocritical or surprising because you're assuming that he's racist and that he would have a black girlfriend. It's somehow contradictory.
Right.
It's just not.
Right.
It's not that big a deal for people of his age, of his generation, or not as much of a big deal as it was for previous generations.
Well, and certainly, and that's why I wanted to contrast it with someone like Strom Thurmond, where it was completely hypocritical to the policies he was promoting. I think in my response was more like, oh, this is interesting.
It is interesting.
Right? And so I was a little surprised that other people seem to have more of an,
So what's been the, you know, what's been the pushback response? Because it got picked up by Drudge and caused quite a brouhaha, but unexpectedly.
I found it very surprising. I have to be really honest. I really wrote the piece as it isn't this interesting. And the other reason I wrote the piece is because we've all had this conversation where someone gets in trouble, whether it's a politician, an actor, a public figure, who says something stupid and automatically says, but I have a black friend, I have a gay friend, I have a Hispanic friend. It can't be true. Some of my very best friends, right? And so I really want to just talk about this and really ask the fundamental question, what if it's actually true? Right? What if that person who actually has said something offensive, I mean, I'll just throw out an example. What if we found out after the Michael Richards N-word tangent at a comedy club that he had a half-black daughter, right? Would that have changed the way we kind of look through the lens of how we should be criticizing him? And that's really what I wanted to talk about. And Paul Ryan was just sort of a vehicle to have that conversation. But I've got a lot of hate mail.
So tell us about some of the what the general trend beyond the stupid.
There are a lot of people who seem to be angry that I wrote the piece at all, and that I find perplexing because I didn't say anything critical about him except this is interesting. Does it matter? In fact, the last line in the piece is, I'd like to hear from all of you. Do you think it matters in the comments? So I wasn't damning Paul Ryan. I wasn't criticizing him.
Not at all.
So I found it really interesting that a lot of the reaction, which seems to be driven, for some reason, it seems to be from a lot of conservatives, is why did you write this? Why are you playing the race card? Why did you bring this up? And I've gotten a lot of, you know, hate mail, some very racially tinged hate mail. So I guess that's a record this week for me that I've broken in my career. Most hate mail in 1 week. So
congratulations.
Thank you.
If you're not getting if you're not getting hate mail, you know,
I have not found the girlfriend. I know that there are outlets who are actively looking for her at this moment, and they've already started interviewing his college classmates and asking them if they recall who she is. And I'm sure, you know, as soon as people find her, her phone will be ringing off the hook. She's welcome to email me. I'm sure every other journalist is trying to get her to do so. I'm very findable at kellygoff.com.
Well, it's a great story, and I think it adds a layer of complexity beyond sort of, I think, the stereotypes about Paul Ryan, which is also, I think, a virtue of the story.
Right.
So last night, just pivoting, we got a money story, we got a basketball story, we got the president and Michael Jordan. What's not to like about that?
Well, you know, what I was surprised by is Jordan famously said Republicans buy shoes too, right? That was his famous line about why he didn't come out and take political stands back when he was playing basketball.
Which is in fact true.
Which is true. They buy sneakers. I've heard that. Polls show that Republicans buy basketball sneakers.
Even seen some in them.
Yeah. So, you know, it was a sort of another one of these big all-star events for Obama. I think they raised $3 million. Didn't quite reach the number of the Clooney fundraiser.
The Clooney threshold.
That was $14 million, I think, is a record for a one-night fundraiser.
Don't underestimate the interest of women in meeting George Clooney.
There you go.
No matter the price.
There you go.
There you go. I think Obama, you know, put on the basketball shorts and laced up the sneakers and shot some hoops with the players who were there. But, you know, the larger story is he's trailing Romney pretty badly in the money race, and this is a big surprise. Ancient history, 1 year ago, ancient history and campaign time, we were all talking about how Obama was going to run the first $1 billion campaign. That was the expert assessment, and the campaign was not pushing back on that. When I went out to Obama headquarters at the end of last year, they said nothing about how they expected to trail Romney in the money race. In the story, I published that estimate, the $1 billion campaign. Immediately got a lot of pushback from the campaign because they had realized during the primary season, with all the super PACs pouring money in on Romney's behalf, Gingrich's behalf, that they ran the risk of being outspent, and they didn't want to set expectations so high so their donors wouldn't chip in. And that's been a big fight for them. Now they're saying every day, basically, you get emails from them saying, donate $3, donate $5, I mean, we need money. It's
sort of
insane.
Desperate and stocky emails, I must say.
Right.
The money gap is really striking in part in the super PAC economy. I mean, this is where it's just stunning. People like Soros, who played with independent expenditures big time when they were trying to get Bush out of office, are comparatively uninterested.
Right.
Only 2 of the top 10 donors to super PACs are Democrats. The other 8 are Republicans. It is a massive disparity all told. And it's going to be fascinating to see if we're at a place where there's just a limit to what money can do, or if the old truism applies, which is, you know, more money, you know, unless you're running a statewide race like Michael Huffington, you're going to win it.
Right. Well, it's interesting that you mentioned the state races because I think that's where it's going to play the biggest part. You know, the Obama campaign is still going to have $750 million. It's more money than any other campaign has ever had, except for Romney this year. So they're going to have enough money to spend. I'm interested to see how these super PAC ads, the super PAC money is going to influence congressional races, Senate races, the last minute where people aren't paying that much attention. They just flood the airwaves in Columbus, Ohio, and potentially swing one of those elections. I think that's where it's going to make the biggest difference.
That's exactly right.
And the other interesting thing, too, is we keep talking about the big number in terms of the money, but the Obama campaign still has 800 staffers, significantly more than Romney. So the question becomes, will this be a grassroots election or a TV election?
I think that is actually one of the macro themes.
Right.
That's exactly right. Final word, because all the Facebook questions and Twitter questions we got were, does it matter if Paul Ryan had a black girlfriend, which we conclusively answered and you asked in the story. Final word. It's one word that kind of sums up the whole deal for you.
I guess then hyphenated, interracial relationships.
3 hyphens. Okay.
That's pretty good.
There you go.
Slam dunk comes to mind. Not sure why.
That works. Somewhere George Tenet is crying.
Right.
Millions. That's all for us at NewsBeast. We'll see you tomorrow. We'll be tune in to Tampa and Charlotte. We're going to be having some fun from down there.